Hello, Serge. I'm
Hey,
Barbara from the Wilderness School, Wir Kinder der Erde. And I met you in Pipestone, Minnesota. And there I was really impressed of your wisdom in sharing knowledge to the pipe. And I, a subject which is touching my heart is what is an elder? And so I invited you to this talk, to the subject, is an elder? What does it mean? And perhaps you can share your experience and your knowledge. Would you please introduce yourself as you normally introducing your?
okay. So, Panji Maigan Mena Serge Gaganon Indigikas, Kichisibi Ottawa Indujiba, Métis Enda, Wawashkish Doden. So, I told you my everyday name is Serge Gagnon. My spirit name is Little Wolf. I was born on the shores of a river called Kichisibi or Ottawa River in a tiny little town that happens to be the capital of Canada, which is Ottawa. And I identify as Métis, and we can have a chat about that. And I am of the Deer clan. That is how typically I identify myself. When I was very little, I was told you will meet a lot of people and you will talk to a lot of people. And what you tell the people is what is important. So I told you what was important. The rest of it, uh, my background, where I studied, what I've done, is not really important. And it should be demonstrated in the way that I act, which is in line with First Nation things, which is don't really ask questions, just observe. And from your observation, you'll determine if that person is suitable for you or not.
Oh, thank you a lot, Serge, for this introduction. The theme is what is an elder? And it's very interesting to get information from your point of view. Now,
Yeah.
what is an elder?
Yeah. Elders in First Nations hold a key role, like a very important role. And that role, from my perspective, is to not make harsh, very fast decisions, not act on impulse, take a pause, reflect, and if it is the action you want to pause, you want to do, if it is the action you want to do, then by all means, if you're conscious of the consequences of that decision and you're willing to live with the consequences of that decision, by all means, go ahead and do it. So, that, from my perspective, is the definition of an elder. So, it is someone you go to make sure that you run all the scenarios of all your options and all the consequences linked to those decisions or options, and making sure that you make the appropriate choice for yourself.
So I understand that an elder is like an advisor with a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. Does it also mean that an elder is connected to spirit and having a strong bond to spirit and can listen what spirit also tells?
Very good question. Uh, I've heard it say that everybody, absolutely everybody, can be an elder for 5 minutes. It takes a very special person to be an elder for an extended period of time. So we can all have little moments of, let's call it wisdom. We can all have little moments of wisdom. It takes some work to make those little moments last longer.
Mm.
Uh, so an elder is not necessarily linked to how old you are. I've met very young people that have listened a lot and accumulated a lot of wisdom. And yes, because of First Nations view of the world, global view of the world, spirituality is part of that, that everything is interconnected and you celebrate that interconnection of everything. Yeah, elders need to to have that too.
And how was it, or when someone is coming to you and want an advice, is there a special offering or ceremony to say, please help me?
No, I don't think so. Sorry. Well, of course, and that is my perspective. No, I don't think so. Historically or in the past, it was customary for someone to make an offering of asema, of tobacco. A lot of elders will use the pipe, the sacred pipe, as a communication tool and as a tool to slow everything down, slow life down, and bring people right where they are. Like, I think the New Age call it the here and the now. And yeah, it is. You would be surprised how many people have a hard time answering the very simple question, do you know where you are? And a lot of people have a hard time telling you where they are because their physical body may be somewhere, but their mind may be elsewhere. They may be at the bank taking care of financial stuff, maybe at school with their children taking care of a situation. Their mind may be in school trying to learn something, but physically they are in front of you. So when you ask them, where are you? They they don't know how to answer. So the pipe helps with that. You are here with me in the same room as me, in front of me. You brought asema, you brought tobacco or kinnikinnick, and we can put that in the pipe and smoke the pipe together, bringing you back to a point somewhere in space and somewhere in time where the two of us can now chat and really have a look at whatever it is that's on your mind. Now, you bring an interesting point when you say when someone comes to you as an elder. Most elders don't consider themselves elders. It, I live this way. It's nothing special for me. I live this way. But I've been called way worse than an elder. Way, way worse than an elder. So identifying yourself as an elder is frowned upon. Like you shouldn't, just because you were able to have some wisdom for 5 minutes, uh, doesn't make you a wise person forever. Right? In the native world, there is no diploma that you can put on the wall that says, I'm an elder. I went to this school. I studied this. I am an elder. There is no plaque that you can put on the wall that says elder above your door. Uh, so it is like it starts with self-identification, I think, of yeah, I am seeking wisdom in my life. But that doesn't mean that I'm wise all the time, right?
Hmm. Is inner peace something what an elder should have? And what is inner peace exactly for you?
Inner peace is a quest and not a destination. It's it's a voyage, not a destination. I think it is inner peace is something that you cultivate all the time, not something that you you run a race for and say, okay, I come to the finish line. I'm now wise forever. I don't think that's it. So how do you get there or what? There's not just one ingredient. You cannot take one pill and say, okay, that is it, that solves it. There's a number of ingredients to it. Uh, so for me, there's like two major ones. There's three major. The medicine wheel, the native medicine wheel is a very big one, a very big tool that helps you determine the center, like looking at the four cardinal points and knowing what is above your head or being conscious of what is above your head, what is below your feet, will bring you to a center point. So physically, this is where I am. This is truly where I am physically. You can also do this emotionally. You can do this spiritually. This is where I am. Black Elk said there are 7 layers of this medicine wheel, or 7 hoops, he called them, or 7 wheels. Sorry, I'm at the end of a bit of a cold. So 7 layers of this. So you can do this like on a number of levels. Coupled with that is the 7 teachings of grandfather. The 7 teachings of grandfather are really 7 things that you need in order to be a good two-legged, a good human being. Either male, female, doesn't matter. A good human being, a good two-legged person. So you need, guess which one is number one? Number one, you need humility. And they're in no particular order, okay? In the native world, we have a circular view of things, not a linear view of things. So it's not this ingredient first, that ingredient second, that ingredient third. It's as long as all those ingredients are there, we are good. So I place them in the order that I view from me, where what I do first. So what I do first is humility. So you have to be humble. If you stand on top of a soapbox and say, "Look at me, I'm an elder," from my perspective, you are not being humble. You are telling people you have to respect me. You're trying to exercise some type of authority over them, some type of authority over them. So humility for me is number one. Number two is courage. You need courage. Sometimes you need courage just to get out of bed in the morning. So courage is a big one. So courage to stand up, courage to speak, courage to take action when action is required, and of course being humility. So that kind of keeps everything in check, keeps your courage in check. You have to be honest. That's a big one, being honest. I placed honesty in the West. The West is the color of darkness. It's when the sun goes down and darkness comes out. We do a lot of our things in sweat lodges or in lodges that are dark. And why do we do that? We do that because if you're alone in the dark and you cannot be honest with yourself, you cannot be honest anywhere else in your life. So be honest with yourself first. Right? And then the truth, or what is true. And there's a big, big difference between the truth and what is true. The truth, we all have our truths. We can all look at something and say, this is a cup. That is true. Okay, fine. I can look at it and tell you, no, it's not my truth. That's a container in my truth, not a. But what is true? Ah, now we can talk about what is true. So you need this ingredients too. What is true? In there is love. And love, define love. We this call is gonna last a very, very long time if we try and define love. So love. Well, what is love? So do things in a loving way in your life. Look for the positive things in others, not just the negative things. And maybe it takes longer to find the good things than it does to take the bad things. So do things with love. And when you do things with love, it becomes acceptable for others. When others look at you doing something, whatever you're doing, if you do it with love, becomes acceptable for them. May not be the way they do things, may not be the way they speak, but because you do it with your heart and you do it with love, it's okay. It's acceptable. Then there is wisdom. And we can talk about wisdom a lot because we can define wisdom in a number of ways. But wisdom according to you. So be wise. Be wise. And by wise, we mean even when you're in the garden and you're picking up whatever it is that you planted, there is a wise way to do it, and there is a harsh way to do it. The wise way to do it is to leave some roots there so the plant will grow again. The harsh way to do it is just whack it right out and we'll start fresh next spring. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. I don't know, but do it in a wise way. Don't, if you need a chicken, don't kill every chicken in your barn just for one meal. Maybe when the next meal comes around, you'll be hungry and there will be no more chickens. So be wise when you pick something from nature, not to take absolutely everything that is there and not leave any for tomorrow. I put wisdom below my feet because I think in our relationship with Mother Earth, we need to be wise in the way we use the resources of Mother Earth. I think Mother Earth's function is to give me everything that I need to survive and everything that I desire. Everything that I need is close to the surface and kind of easy to pick. Everything that I desire is a little bit further down and requires a lot more work to get at, but I still get everything that I need as well as everything that I desire. Especially of the things that I desire, if I take too much of it, there won't be any more, and I'm going to have to do with it. So be wise in that relationship with Mother Earth. That's my definition of wisdom. Yeah. So that brings us to the center. And what is in the center is respect. Respect with a capital R. And starting with respect for yourself. So don't do something that does not respect your beliefs, your things, where you are. And now we're going to go around like in zigzag because to say, no, I'm not doing this because it doesn't respect me, may need a lot of courage, may need a lot of honesty because you may have to explain a lot, may need a lot of talks about what is true as opposed to your truth, uh, may need some humility to say, there is a way to say no. My father taught me that we can say with all due respect, I'm not doing this. So I don't mean to be disrespectful to you, but I need to be respectful to myself. So therefore, I won't do this. So those are the 7 things, plus the medicine wheel, which guess what, has 7 directions. So you can link the 2 of them together. And as a glue for all of this, for me, is the pipe. It's the sacred pipe. So the pipe brings all of this together, is the reason why I do all of this. And the pipe is my connection to spirit. And where is spirit? What is spirit? I think spirit is in my interconnection with absolutely everything and everyone around me. So I believe Hinduism has something kind of similar, and they say namaste. Uh, uh, the the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. We have no such words. I think we have a tool instead, and that tool is the pipe. So if we sit together and we smoke the pipe, we celebrate that interconnection between you and I, and that interconnection is the divine.
Hmm.
Long explanation, huh?
Long explanation and very deep explanation. A lot of things to think over and to take to their heart and feel what this means in the deep depths and finding their own true,
Yes.
living this. It's not easy.
No,
It
no,
takes
it's not.
time and experience.
And you will stumble, you will lose it, you will not be wise in your reaction, depending. And then you're going to have to analyze what happened, where, and can you fix it? Can you go back? Can you all of that?
Yeah,
So it becomes a way of living.
yeah. And it's always a spiral more and more to interconnect us.
Yeah.
Interconnect us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interconnection and
Interconnection.
and inter we're not just interconnected. We also we're interconnected to the point where when we hurt, when we do bad things, uh, that comes right back to us.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do bad things to someone, I'm actually doing bad things to me. So I don't want to do that. or I ought not
Right.
want to do that. Or I may say, I'll live with the consequences. You know,
Yeah.
my hot buttons are my grandchildren. Someone does something bad to my grandchildren, I lose my wisdom. I have to work very, very hard, not my wisdom.
This is a good explanation when a reason is there to lose and to say, okay, I did it for my grandchildren and I lost the wisdom, but I can forgive myself for this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So when we are looking now again to the theme of the elders, if I listen carefully to you, then the role of an elder is very important in the society.
Yes, it is. Give me 1 second, okay?
Yeah.
Didn't want you to see me blow my nose.
Okay. That what is a role of an or a function or a task of an elder in society, in the First Nation, and here in our society of our country, West world?
Well, even in the government structure of Canada, we have a Senate in our government, and the Senate is act like a circle of elders that look at the different decision our government makes and says okay or not okay. So even in government structures, you can incorporate. I Government is a big one. So because government is a big one, I don't think you should put all of that responsibility on one person's shoulder. So you would make a circle of elders. So you would gather more than one person, right?
Mhm.
So in most communities or bands or clans or however you want to call them, an elder needs that community. So the community needs to recognize this person as an elder. So no community, no elder. You have a wise person, but not an elder. An elder needs a community. So if you have a community of people, those people can decide when I need um, a sounding board, when I need someone to listen to me, to truly listen to me, and not tell me what to do, but give me choices. Say that's proof that you're really listening to someone and you really understand the situation someone is going through if you're able to come up with different choices. So here are your choices, and here is what I think is going to happen if you choose this one, that one, or that. So I really listened to you. I really paid attention to you. So you can be a community. You can be one person. You can be a couple. Uh, you can be a government. Uh, but I, you know, now we'll link back to the circle. Why do we do things in a circle? Well, we do that because of observation. We looked at the world around us, and the world around us is a big circle. All of it is a circle. Earth is a circle. it's circular in shape. We the sun is circular. We spin around the sun in a circular fashion. The sun spins around the middle of the Milky Way in a circular fashion. Everything is circular. So it, we gather in a circle. And we will place in the middle of the circle whatever it is that we want to talk about, or whatever it is that's a problem. We'll put that in the middle of a circle. So I used to do this exercise with a lot of people that wanted to do uh, negotiations. They wanted to negotiate things. So I would sit them in a circle and I would put a big dice. You know a dice? With a dice has six fascia, and on each of those fascia, it has different dots. Okay.
Okay.
So I would put that dice in the middle of the circle, sit everybody around, and ask them, how many dots do you see? And they had different answers. And they were all what is true, what is in front of them, what they are looking at, what they analyze. I'm looking at one dot. The person sitting right across from them in the circle would say, no, you're not. I am looking at six dots. So it's an analyzing way of doing things by observation, looking at something, voicing what it is that you're looking at, and then elevating that level of thoughts. So we will never agree on the number of dots that we see. We are all intelligent. We all know what our eyes are telling us when we look there. I see one dot. I don't see six. And I'm not going to agree with you out of respect for me. I'm not going to say, okay, you're right. I see six dots when I'm not. That being very disrespectful to me. So we'll never agree. But if we keep talking, at one point, we're going to come to the conclusion that we are looking at a dice. And a dice has different faces with different dots on it. Now we know exactly what we're looking at, right? We can do that with a dice. I did that with a mountain of cotton balls, you know, the fluffy cotton balls. It was like looking at a cloud. When people look at clouds, they see different things. So someone saw an elephant, someone saw a rabbit, someone saw a dog, someone, and who am I to argue with you that you you see a dog in there and I don't. I see a cow. But we can agree we are looking at a mountain of cotton balls. So a lot of situations, the information we have at first doesn't reflect exactly what is going on, doesn't reflect what is true. What is true really is we are looking at a mountain of cotton balls. And then we can agree, hey, we can shape this in a way that everybody around the circle will see the same thing. We can make
Wow.
we can make it a square. If we make it a square, everybody around the circle sees a square, right?
Yeah. This was a wise answer. So you told so many things about elder wisdom and how to get there, and how the elders were treated in the First Nation years or centuries ago, and how it's now. And so, do you have anything to tell the audience who are hearing and seeing us in this interview? Something?
Well, when you seek an elder, or when you go see, or you try to find an elder, your first hurdle is very few people will say, yes, I am one. Very, very few people. So that's going to make your research a little bit harder. Beware of those people that will tell you, I am an elder. Uh, Probably they're not, because they are breaking like the first rule of humility, right? So I'm not an elder, but I've been called way worse. So, well, what are you looking for, right? And maybe I can help you there. Maybe I can't. Maybe I know somebody else who can. Uh, so, Pipestone, in Pipestone, Minnesota, I am a member of the keepers of the sacred tradition of pipe makers. There, we gather once a year, and I like to believe I go there to talk to elders. So I go there to talk to wise people. And there are a few, like Bud Johnson is a wonderful, wonderful elder. He's a wonderful storyteller. He has so many stories that he can repeat without changing. That is such a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. There's Ken. Ken is like a martial art expert. He's so in tune with the energy in the world and how that energy moves around and what it creates. It's so wonderful to talk to that man. There's Jim Tree Gilmore. Jim Tree is is so in tune with the pipe that he can tell you the personality of a pipe, like which spirit is there, what spirit has a connection to that particular pipe. So they interesting people to talk to. There's Horse. Uh, Horse as he comes back from being paraplegic and he was touched by spirit and he can walk, he can talk, he can do things that a regular person can do. So the power of that connection with spirit, Horse can talk to you about that in a very, very particular way. So I consider all of elders. There's also Rona. Rona, because for some reason, I was just mentioning men there. But there's not just, there's no gender in this thing. It doesn't matter. Man, woman, you, doesn't matter. Uh, that is something we lost with the integration of Europeans into our environment. Uh, it didn't used to matter. Man, women before didn't matter. When the Europeans got here for a number of reasons, it changed, it matters. And going back to it doesn't matter is hard. Is a hard road, but we are working on that. So there's Rhoda, that is a wonderful, wonderful human being. She has she she can look at things and make you see things that you didn't see before. So she definitely has like a view of the world that is unique. There's Martha. Martha has a voice that doesn't fit in her body. Uh, when she sings, her body ought to be 4 times the size she is because her voice is out of this world. So she has a connection with the energy of sound, and that is linked to a sema. A sema is a recorder. So when you talk to a sema, it records stuff. So when I talk to a sema, I talk in a smooth voice, low voice, smooth voice. When Martha sings to a sema, there's like power in it. So the recording must be much clearer coming from Marta than it does from me. And I'll put Sylvie in there. My wife Sylvie has the heart of a child. She approaches the world in a way a child would. and that makes her very, very vulnerable. A lot of people try to take advantage of Sylvie, and from time to time, Sylvie will let them and purposely let them take advantage of him. And then they'll stop because it was too easy. And why was it too easy? Well, it's because Sylvie has the heart of a child. So very, very precious to live the way Sylvie lives, and uh, the way Sylvie approaches life is amazing to me. Very amazing. She approaches everything as a child would. So she can look at a very, very tiny flower and look at it for hours because it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And that precisely. So that about covers. I think that gives you a spec of why we can't say, oh, to become an elder, you have to do course A, B, C, D in that fashion, and you're an elder.
Mhm.
I I don't think. I think it's a journey. So you can say, okay, I know the 7 ingredients. I know the medicine wheel, so I can spot check myself. Where am I? Physically, emotionally, spiritually. This is where I am. These are the 7 things, 7 ingredients I need, and those 7 ingredients are there. So for the time that I smoke this pipe, I'm an elder.
Mhm.
But when the tobacco runs out, I'm no longer in it.
Thanks, Serge. And I'm really looking forward that you and Sylvie are coming to Germany to classes in our school, and Sylvie is teaching the medicine wheel for women,
Yeah,
and we are sharing the pipe together, a
yeah.
community pipe in ceremony, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I being blessed that you come and share your wisdom, Sylvie and you. And
Well,
I'm
we were trying very, very hard. We're going to get over this cold and it's going to be all gone and we'll be in Germany.
okay. So we will see us soon. I will stop now the recording.